Go.
Alright, so I'm going to demonstrate how to use a Vivtar 285 HV flash for some of the flash techniques in ARC 206. So first of all, here's our situation here. We have our model, in this case the mannequin, and we're going to be able to try to bring the model out. And one of the big issues we have to do is first learn how to operate the flash, and then we're going to go through direct flash and fill flash. So I'll come in a little bit closer so you can actually see this. So for basic use, just starting out here, we have a non-dedicated flash, the Vivtar 285 HV, and it's on this Nikon camera. The Nikon camera is in manual exposure mode for right now, and then you can set your goals accordingly here. Most of the time with a non-dedicated flash, it's not going to know what the sync speed is on the flash, or even that the flash is connected, so you need to know that. So I know from past experience that I can shoot 1/25 of a second as my sync speed on this camera. You can also look at your camera's owner manual. So I've got the sync speed set. I'm in manual here. Aperture we'll get into a little bit. On the Vivtar flash, over here on this thing called the auto thruster dial, the very powered dial, it says M, and that means I've got full manual mode here. So when I do that, then I do all my calculations on what's called the calculator dial. Can we see that pretty well, or should I give you a chance to zoom in?
That's good.
Okay. So a couple things I need to know before I play with this is I need to know my ISO. So I can look on my camera and I know my ISO is, we'll put it at 100 just to make this a little bit more interesting. So I got ISO 100 here. So then on my calculator dial, I need to put this at ISO 100. Now, there's a white triangle, and I'm going to move the white triangle so it lines up with the ISO 100. And that allows this thing to be sort of calibrated. The next thing I need to know is I need to look at the black triangle. The black triangle needs to go all the way to full to start with, and then we'll adjust it if necessary. So white triangle is on my ISO, black triangle is at full power. You can read full power on the side right there. So that's all set, that's good to go. To figure out the aperture, I'm going to look at my distance to subject. So a lot of times if this is really close, you may have to back up accordingly here. So I'm just going to pretend and kind of look and say I'm going to shoot from about where you're standing here, Craig, with your camera. And I've got about, let's say, 5 feet between me and the subject, or 5 feet between the flash on camera and the subject. So I would look at the dial, and if I look in feet, I would look at where 5 is. And at 5 feet, it's right on the line of 22 and 16. Typically, you want to go with more light entering the camera, so I'd go with 16. So I'll set my aperture to 16 here. Now, also I can look at the fact that this has a zoom on it. So typically, if I'm on the wide angle setting on my flash, I need to be on the wide angle setting on the wide angle setting on the lens. I need it on my flash as well. If it's at the normal, I'd be in here. If it's at the telephoto, I'd be in there. Focal length here is at 35 millimeter, and that's about a normal here, so I'm going to set this on normal. And then I step back, I'll compose the shot. My flash is already turned on, the ready light's going, so I know I have that there. When I push the camera halfway down, I'll just check to make sure things are in focus, and I'll take the picture. Is that you should be able to see that the subject is well exposed, but the background looks crazy dark. And that's the biggest problem with direct flash. The flash has been exposed well for the subject, but the background, you don't have a very good exposure on the background. And we can solve that more with just fill flash here in just a moment.